Hey guys, CL Cannon here, one of the authors of Rogue Skies, which is 99 cents by the way, and we're getting ready to head on to Amazon in the next couple of days. So if you haven't went over there and got Rogue Skies, it's coming up on Amazon. It's already on Nook and it's already on iBooks and Kobo. It's 99 cents. You get 25 books for 99 cents, which is crazy. It's all fantasy and sci-fi books. My story is a time travel story that I hope you'll love. And you really just need to check it out, because once you do get it, you also get a free anthology with 19 other fantasy and sci-fi stories in it. So that's another awesome little incentive there. So I'm going to be doing the Beauty and the Beast book tag today, and this was originally on the Dreamland Book Blog, and I'll leave a link to that so you can see the original post. So let's get into it. Okay, the first one is A Villain You Can't Help But Love. I had a really hard time trying to decide this one because there's a lot of great villains out there, but I think a lot of them are more anti-heroes. But one that's, I think, classified most of the time as a villain that I can't help but love is Hook from Peter Pan. And I think this is because of how many retellings that I have read where Hook was actually a lost boy and Peter was more like the villain. And I've read a lot of those, including Lost Boy. And I think that's kind of twisted my perception a little bit about our favorite captain. The next one is Your OTP, which means one true pairing for those who don't know. It is always, always, always going to be Ron and Hermione from Harry Potter. I've been so obsessed with Harry Potter and with Ron and Hermione that I made a website. I named the ship Hermione. I was one of the first people to do that because MuggleNet was calling them He-Ron, and I was like, that just sucks. That's a crappy name for them. We're going to name them Hermione. And then I started my website, Love Unchained, which is a Hermione shipper's paradise. It still is up today as just more of an archive, even though I still love Ron and Hermione. There's just not enough news and things to really do anything with it right now. But Ron and Hermione have always been my OTP since I was a teenager. And mostly because I love their banter. I love how well they fit together. I love that they bring out the good qualities in each other and they complement each other. So they'll always be my OTP forever. I wrote fan fiction. I was a crazy Hermione freak, so I have to say them. Okay, the next one is a character who's destined for greater things. This one's hard. There's a lot of characters like this. I'm going to say Kaz Bricker from the Six of Crows duology, because I think he was just kind of coming into his character by the end of that series. I think he was learning to live with some of the horrors of his past, and him and Inej were sort of starting to have a thing, and I think there's going to be, a lot more stuff ahead for him, a lot of more opportunities. Now that he's kind of seeked his vengeance and kind of has that chapter out of his life, it's time to start something new. So I think he has a great future ahead of him. Lots of potential. The next one is a book that made you hungry. I'm probably gonna have to go with Harry Potter again on this, because they talked about food so much and all this cool wizarding food and butterbeer and the jelly beans and trickle tart and so many different food items, and of course the Great Hall, Dumbledore waving his hand and pretty much food just appearing out of nowhere. It's times like these that I think maybe I should have been a Hufflepuff, but the Slytherin in me still loves food too. So probably Harry Potter. Opposites attract. So this is about a couple that has a dynamic that they're complete opposites, but they somehow wind up together, or there's an attraction there. Okay, for this one, I'm going to have to go with the Hunger Games, and I'm going to have to go with Katniss and Peeta, because they are just completely different people, and yet somehow they made it work. Katniss is very singular. She kind of stays to herself. She's always tried to kind of block herself off, while Peeta is more of a sharing person. He kind of wants to, you know, get his feelings out there. Peeta is, I don't want to say he's more compassionate. I think Katniss has it in her to be compassionate, but the way that she's lived and the things that she's been through make her more guarded. But I think Peeta is more likely to show compassion, while Katniss is a little more ruthless. And, you know, she's willing to make some large sacrifices, even to her morality, so that she can protect her and her family and anyone she cares about. So they're very, very opposite, but they just work together after a while. Okay, the next one is a character who is more than they appear. And for this one, I'm going to have to go with Samwise Gamgee. Because everybody looks at Sam. He's a chunky little hobbit. He's a gardener. He carries, you know, all of their pots and pans, and he cooks for them and things like that. But he is such an amazing character. He is pretty much the actual hero of Lord of the Rings. He is the one who pretty much makes sure that Frodo gets to Mount Doom. He's the one who carries him up the freaking mountain. He has so much loyalty, and he was not corrupted by the ring when he wore it. So I just think there's so much more underneath that surface that everybody just sees this little, you know, fat hobbit, as Gollum said, who just cooks and takes care of people. And that's the thing, he does take care of people. He takes care of people so wholly, and he cares about the world, and he cares about his friends. And that's something that is probably overlooked. It's not considered as heroic, probably, as fighting in a battle with a sword and a shield, as it would be, you know, just making sure that the people that you love are taken care of. And I love Sam. He's one of my favorite literary characters ever. And that's why, because I just love that he has a different kind of courage and a different way of being heroic. Okay, the next one is a book that changed you in some way. And for this one, I'm going to have to go with Harry Potter. I mean, I know I've already used Harry Potter on this list, but Harry Potter became such a huge part of my life. I was very, very into Lord of the Rings at the time that I read Harry Potter, and that was one of the main reasons why I wouldn't read it. I was like, it's not Lord of the Rings. It's not ever going to match up to the hype of Lord of the Rings. Why would I want to read this? And then my little sister's like, no, you need to read this. And I'm so glad that she did. Thank you, Amber. Because it became a huge, huge part of my life. I have met so many wonderful people in the fandom. I have made, you know, friendships that have lasted for years and years and years with people I would never have met before because they're in different countries. This actually put me on my author journey, writing fan fiction and things like that. And it just made me, you know, want to become a writer even more. Like, I want to be like JK. I want to have the power to take my ideas and put them into someone else's mind and just make it become something that is so important to people. And I love the way that Harry Potter uses real world problems inside, kind of veiled, like using magic as metaphors for real things that happen in your life. You can take anything in Harry Potter and break it down into something that could actually happen. So if I talk about it much more, I'll probably cry, because I just love it. I love the people that I've met, and I love the characters. They are dear to my heart. The next one is a book you picked up because of the hype. This one I'm going to say An Ember in the Ashes. I saw this all over Instagram, all over Goodreads. Everybody was reading this book, and it took me a little while. I had the book for a bit. The cover was beautiful, and so I was like, well, this looks interesting. I'll read it sometime. And it took me 2 years to read it. And finally I was like, okay, this has been sitting here for forever. I'm going to pick this up and read it. And I fell in love. I read that book, then I bought the entire rest of the series and read the whole series in a week. because it was just that great. The magic system, the premise of the story, the character writing, it's all wonderful, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. A book or moment that always makes you cry. Oh, there are so many of them. I cry so much in books. I can't help it. I'm very emotional when I read books. For this one, I'm going to have to go with, and this is spoiler alert, if you haven't read the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, don't listen to this part. But spoiler alert for that. If you haven't read the whole, at least the first 3 books. Anyway, my pick is Max Lightwood's death in City of Glass. Oh, is there anything more traumatic than a child losing their life? And we had gotten to know Max, and he had so many things that he was excited about. And it's a kid. You have to see his sister and his brother and Jace and Clary all mourning for him, and I can't do it. I can't think about it, and especially being a mother now and rereading that and imagining how it would be to lose your kid like that. It tears me up inside. I can't stand it. So that one always, every time I read it, it makes me cry. Okay, so now I need to tag some people. So I'm going to tag Jennifer Ellison, Marquetta Sowers, and Rebecca Dotson. So you guys do the Beauty and the Beast challenge. I know you'll love it. If you haven't gotten your copy of Rogue Skies, it's still 99 cents. It's going to be 99 cents until September. And 25 books for 99 cents. And then you get 19 more. So that's really 44 books for 99 cents. You can't go wrong. It's going to be on Amazon this week, and it's already on Nook and Kobo and iBooks. So please go get a copy. All right. Thank you guys. Bye.